came back in October when the crossing cleared. 4 years of salt and distance finally disappeared. I walked the road from Cove before the morning broke, and smelled the turf of home inside the rising smoke. The gate was mended where I'd left it split in two. The window box had winter flowers, something new. I didn't know what all the neighbors wouldn't say. I saw the lamp still burning and thought he'd stepped away to fetch the morning water from the well below, the way he always did before the cold could grow. I called my father's name into the stillness of the lane, the name I'd carried west and carried home again. The fire was still warm when I opened the door. The kettle on its hook, the way it hung before. His coat was on the chair, his boots beside the hearth. The house was full of him and empty at the heart. The fire was still warm, the bread was on the board, the table set for two as if he'd watched me come ashore. Everything was ready, everything in place, except the hands that made it, except his living face. They told me in the village it had happened in the night, 3 hours before I landed, just before the light. He'd ask them every morning if my ship had come in, and every night he set my place and lit the lamp again. I found his letter folded in the Bible by his bed. The ink had barely dried on what he'd never said. I've kept the fire going, and I've kept the faith. Come home before the winter, come home before it's late. Now I understand what I was carrying from afar. Not just the weight of leaving, but the cost of being apart. Love doesn't live in memory or letters from afar. It waits beside the fire, it waits where you are. The fire was still warm when I opened the door. The kettle on its hook, the way it hung before. His coat was on the chair, his boots beside the hearth. The house was full of him and empty at the heart. The fire was still warm, the bread was on the board, the table set for two as if he'd watched me come ashore. Everything was ready, everything in place, except the hands that made it, except his living face. I sat down at the table that he'd set for me, and ate the bread and drank the tea. He'd never see me drink. It was the most he'd ever given, everything he had. A fire kept through 4 years of not knowing where I'd land. And I have never felt so loved, and I have never felt so stays on the chair, his boots beside the hearth. I tend the flame, he tended through the dark. The fire is still warm, his bread upon the board. I set the table every night, the way he did before. Everything is ready, everything in place. I keep the fire burning now, I keep his faith.